Do you mind? Yeah. Okay. Hello everybody, this is John Cooper. I'm in Kenya. It's the 9th of March 2020. I'm in Baringo, on the edge of Lake Baringo, and I'm actually with my friend Jonathan Leakey. Jonathan, you and I actually met 50 years ago. According to my diary, I read part of it to you earlier. This is a photocopy of it. My diary from 50 years ago, 1970, says that I first met you at the Nairobi Snake Park in 1970. Margaret, my wife, and I had just come out from England. I was delighted to meet you, and because I knew about your work and your herpetological interests. And well, perhaps you'd say something. What were you doing at the time, and why were you surprised to find a British vet who was interested in snakes?
John, I was not surprised to find a British interest in snakes. Why not? There's nothing wrong with that.
But not many vets were doing it, were they?
No. I didn't at the time know that you were going to do some veterinary work on it.
Yes.
You did that later for me, which is great. I was at the snake park and I had quite a good collection at that time. But I stayed there a year, in fact, and then I didn't enjoy being in Nairobi, so I left and went up country to Songo near Kisumu. After which I came here to Lake Baringo.
So you set up the snake park?
There was nothing there, it's all my design, my plans.
Yes.
Supervised the building.
Yes.
And supervised the stocking.
And was it set up before or after independence, do you recall? It was presumably the 60s. Something like that.
Yes, hang on. I left school in 59. Years older like 1960. I was in Nairobi at 61 with the snake park.
Yes, great. And that's very relevant because we've got an event on in a couple of days' time which will involve present staff from the Nairobi Snake Park, and we're very keen to link meeting you again, or seeing you, an old friend, with that. And then could you just tell us briefly, you said you came up here after your stint in Kisumu. Did you come up here to do snakes or to do something different?
No, entirely snakes. I was involved with collecting snakes for venom extraction.
And was anyone else doing it at that time?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And then I, of course, came up here at your request, because you said, well, if you know something about snakes and their diseases, I've got a problem, we've got a problem. And you and I worked on some of those diseases for nearly 4 years, and we wrote some papers, and we got a few answers. We never completely resolved it. Although it's interesting that current research suggests that we might have had a virus there as well as the famous Aeromonas and Pseudomonas.
Oh, really? A virus?
Because there are viruses that we knew nothing about in those days in snakes, and now recognised in the United States, Canada, Britain, Germany and so on. And we routinely do virus isolation on snakes that show those symptoms, those clinical signs that we did. And it looks as if, possibly, we can't prove it, but I can go back to some of the material from 50 years ago, that it's a virus that actually kills the snakes, and the bacteria, the Aeromonas and Pseudomonas, are secondary, you know, a bit like pneumonia in people, you know, when someone has a mafua, a cold or something. But just returning particularly to this, this piece of filming, we mentioned to you that there's a meeting on a seminar on the day after tomorrow. It's actually at the National Museums of Kenya Institute of Primate Research, and they've now got a new modern snake bite unit. It'd be wonderful if you could see it sometime, otherwise we'll do some filming for you. And Margaret and I are organising a seminar there, and their staff are going to take us around and show us the facilities. But amongst the people who will be attending will be the very keen group who call themselves the Snake Charmers. And we showed you this earlier. This is the bulletin of the Royal College of Pathologists, which we belong to. And the snake charmers are these, they're not all ladies, but many of them are. They're veterinary students and qualified vets, young Kenyan vets from Kabete. And they have developed their own interest in reptiles, not just snakes. And last year, you can see I'm in the picture and one of the snake park handlers. Last year we had a session at the snake park, and they demonstrated techniques on examination and so on. And for me, it's so exciting that 45 years on, after we left Kenya, after our first time here, that we've actually got young Kenyans who are keen.
Absolutely, very good too.
Do you approve of that?
Well, I do.
There's a rhetorical question for you.
Yes.
Is it possible that we might relay your good wishes to them and to the meeting?
Absolutely, yes. wish you all lots of good wishes and hope it goes well.
Jolly good.
And don't give my friend John Cooper too hard a time.
Do note that, you young people, you Vijana who keep giving me jobs. We're both Wazee and we deserve a bit of time for ourselves.
Yeah.
But I think it's lovely, even though we are British, of course our children were born in Kenya, so we feel partly Kenyan, that Kenya, this sort of legacy that goes on with your own family's work, the Leakeys and so on, but also in the context of the museum, the snake park, it continues. You feel there's a continuum, and somehow Kenya, for all its problems, manages to sort of link its history, its colonial past, with what we see as a bright future. It's got some things to overcome, but it will in due course.
I hope it does.
So I wondered if we might, at this stage, close here. I'd just like to thank Jonathan very much indeed. He's an old friend of mine in both senses of that word, but remember, old people are respected here. Say thank you for all your support and encouragement, and would you just say another word of farewell to your audience who will be seeing this in 2 days' time?
Okay, everybody, I hope you have a good time. As I say, don't give John a hard time, and it goes well, and learn lots and whatever you're doing. Good.
Thank you very much indeed. Santi Sana.